Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Satsang. Let's make some silence first. Forget about everything. Nothing is important. Remember that. As you remain in stillness, everything wants to appear important. Don't fall for that. Just silence. No opinions, no evaluations. Just silence. Just reminding all that we use WhatsApp as a means of communication. You can send your questions directly to me. Okay, my friend, I will answer your question now. Hello, Shrima. My perception is still on the usual human finite perception. Sleep, dream, uncontrollable thoughts, desires, emotions, etc. Few times in my life, out of nowhere and without apparent reasons, a force attracts my perception to something very different, infinite, without time nor center, so different than my finite human perception. I think this force is what you call direct guidance. In my stage, the infinite state still feels as outside of me. I am aware of it only superficially outside of sitting meditation, and in sitting meditation, most of the time, I can feel it and its attraction. For little moments, I can even begin to feel like I am not separated from it, and illusion is less intense, but soon thoughts come and human perception is back quickly. I do, like you said, to actively shut the mind and be still, listening for direct guidance. My question is direct guidance always there at any moments? In my experience, it feels like an independent entity. Sometimes it comes very strongly without I even ask for it, and others I wish all my heart for a long period for it to come and almost nothing. Thank you. Okay, my friend, that is not the guidance that I'm talking about. It is different. This is blessing or part of the calling, of the spiritual calling. It is different from guidance. See, this is a higher state or something which is quite closer to that ultimate state, whatever that means. And it is there to show you the nature of what you call reality. It is telling you, look, that is nothing. This is everything. It is supposed to move your attention from your little world and direct it towards the source. So it is a spiritual calling. The guidance, direct guidance that I talk about is that which guides you towards it. You see, these experiences, they are coming more or less more often than before to different seekers, and it is a calling. But the journey of the seeker of truth it is the same. So that is the North Star, the direction. And it's telling you, look, I'm here. That is nothing. You're just wasting time. Come to me. And this come to me, this is up to you. And this is where guidance comes in, as that which directs you to that which is calling. Yes, my stage, the infinite state, still feels as outside of me. First, don't get too hasty on saying that it is the infinite state, but okay. And yes, it is outside because it's like filling you. It's like, how could you explain this better? You're being taken over by it, but you're still there. And it is something different, apart. It is normal. So it is this individual structure with all its chaos that stands in the way of total absorption. So that is calling you, is giving you a direction, a reference for you to see. This which I hold dear and believe it is true, at least at the factual level, because you may know that it isn't true, but as long as you still react with fears and all sort of and protection of your reality, it means you believe it is true. And that appears to call you, to tell, look, this compared to that. I do, like you said, to actually shut the mind and be still, listening for direct guidance. My question is direct guidance always there at any moment? You see, guidance is not a puppy dog that you put on a leash and walks with you whenever you want. And to be still, it doesn't mean to be waiting for the voice of guidance, for guidance to come. You have to do your work as a seeker of truth. This is how you show that you are worthy. And worthy means that you will go all the way. You see, guidance takes you serious when you take it serious. It's about, will you go all the way? This is what needs to be demonstrated. This is why tests come to seekers. Because what is the point of starting something immense if then you're just going to give up? No point. So sitting is not just, when I say sitting and wait for guidance, it doesn't mean that you just sit there and wait for guidance. It means you do your work. Of course, a prayer for guidance, all of that is meaningful, is very important. But most important is, okay, so imagine that guidance is far away, sitting on a nice fluffy couch. And then you ask, oh, I want some guidance, I want guidance. Why should guidance bother to get out from that couch, come to you and guide you in your life if you just want some extra fluffy cushions on your couch? No point. This is just metaphorically speaking, but you see, it is countless times that seekers do this. They don't know the level of their maturity. They believe they are always the best ones. And then they start to receive some guidance, some sort of guidance. And as things start to improve a little bit or worsen a little bit, they just give up, go back to their old ways. So what was the point of that? So you have to do your work as a seeker of truth, as intensely as you can. And by doing that, you'll be tested. And it is your willingness to continue no matter what happens. This is what starts to send a message to guidance. It's not about being successful. Most of the times you won't be. This is about answering the question. Are you in it all the way through? Or is it just a means for other ends? Is guidance a means for other ends? Or is it for freedom's sake? Of course, everybody answers this question immediately. Oh, it's for freedom's sake. But that's not really the case. It can be, and this is why tests come. Then guidance, as it is coming, it is starting to test also. And any meditation technique, if practiced intensely, it will make the water start to boil. It means it will bring life to the process. And only through that life of the process that guidance can come. It can come previously as a master, for example, and he will test you in different ways that you won't understand. And if you're not ripe, motivations are not pure, or you're not ripe, usually it's more that, then you cannot continue. But for direct guidance, it's very different. More intense, more difficult. And it comes when you have an embodied master. You can ask questions whenever you want. Well, the master will answer whenever he wants. Can answer immediately, he can not answer, can take some time, it depends. But direct guidance, oh, that's even more distant. And sometimes it disappears, depending on what you need. It's still there, but you're not feeling it. So it's not something that you ask continuously and it is always there, giving support to that little individual fella. It is something that points the way in a way that you can understand. And then it disappears, leaving you in the middle of your doubts, your difficulties, your confusions, and waiting to see what kind of decisions are you going to make. Because the decisions you are going to make all the difference in, is it worthwhile investing or not? So this experience, these several experiences, this is the calling. It is pointing you the way. I'm here. Now come to me. It's not guidance yet. But it is direction, and that is very good. And the message is clear. Let go of all of that and direct your attention completely here. And use this experience that you're getting from this contact, that completely different state you're experiencing, to understand the previous experience, what you're calling reality, and seeing that is nothing of real. It is helping you to let go faster. The epic of the quest for truth is the most beautiful in all that you can think of. It's not supposed to avoid. It is supposed to go through. Direct experience, direct guidance or guidance. It's always direct, but okay. It is there to guide you from where you really stand in your level of reality, not the level of reality that you imagine to be, but the level of reality that you really are, and guide you, moving you from that level of delusion towards the end, towards freedom. If you have more questions concerning this, feel free to ask them. Let's see if I've not forgot any question. So the work of the seeker of truth is the most important. You see, you may use silence as a means to pierce through the layers of chaos that reside in your mind, but that takes too long, because as you don't know what silence really is, and you're how do you say it, entangled still with worldly happenings and all of that, well, that gives you a feedback of your stage. It doesn't matter if you have these big experiences and all of this. As you are still very entangled with noise, that is the importances that you give to your world, this silence, sitting silently, it doesn't reach the potency it could. It can. The potency it is supposed to. Because it is too subtle for something too gross. And for that, there are other techniques which are quite good. And it is important to pierce. Because when it is just silence and you're still entangled with a lot of things, your mind wanders. Even if it holds still, those layers are too grotesque, too dense. As by fixing your mind on one point, it is more intense for that level of work which is intended. As per a technique where you focus, is it on breath or is it on, it doesn't matter, that you hold your mind to, or mantras, that those vibrations go directly to those layers of deep chaos, grotesque chaos, and starts to rip it, to really touch it and bring it to the surface. With all impurities, when these are coming to the surface, all impurities will come. Attachments, arrogance, hates, negativities, all of these things. You become the roller coaster. After this cleaning of these layers, these thick layers, then silence makes perfect sense. Without it, there's no silence. It's like deep cleaning versus superficial cleaning. You just broom it a little bit, clean the dust a little bit, and it's clean. It's not clean. Deep cleaning is very different. So that silence that usually people talk about, it's just superficial silence. It doesn't touch these deeper layers. Whatever they are encountering is just fluctuating at the surface of the mind. Intensity is a must. And it is a free fall. Remember this. It is a free fall. And in that free fall is where intensity comes. Because if you're jumping with a parachute, that means with control, it is free falling. I will answer your question now. No disagreement or resistance with your words in yesterday's satsang. Just need to put it to practice. Thank you. Bodily posture is not important in the awareness watching awareness method. However, since one wishes to turn the attention away from the body, it is important that the body is comfortable and relaxed and not causing pain. You can do the practice sitting cross-legged or sitting on a chair or sitting on a sofa or a couch, or even lying down in your bed if you are able to do so without falling asleep. Make sure the posture is comfortable and does not cause any pain or strain. Make sure the posture helps you to ignore the body and turn your attention away from the body. I'm trying not to laugh here, not out of disrespect, but make sure the posture does not cause your attention to be directed towards the body. How come is your attention is all over the body? If you're creating a lot of circumstances so that you won't feel the discomforts in the body, that means you are giving a lot of attention to it. So how are you not giving attention to the body? It's like a fear. So for you to be free from a fear, you have to stand in the presence of fear. Because if you're running away from fear, if you're creating circumstances that we will not be exposed to fear, your attention is moving towards that fear. It is feeding that fear. That fear has nothing to do because you're its prisoner. So it is the same with posture. If you have to create a lot of circumstances to bypass discomforts, your attention is all over the body. You're not going away from it, not transcending it. This is an example of difference in teachings that create doubts before. I can't say it's completely gone, but I resonate with what you say. The posture might have worked for him in the level. You see, there's a lot into this, and I could go already and pick the other time I answer about these teachings, but no point. The question is, so you're moving your attention from the body. What does that mean? Because there is no physical body. This is just an aspect of the mind. It's like the result of piled up beliefs. So why should you transcend that? This is your most immediate object of work. Because this is where your belief really is. It doesn't matter if you repeat first, I'm not the body, I'm not the body. If someone tries to slap you, you will defend it. This is ingrained. So why should you move away from it? You're not moving away. In that sense, that is not moving away from the body. It's like someone that says, I'm not running away from fears. Okay, so I've done everything so that I won't be exposed to fear. Now I'm not running. They are not here. I'm not running. That is not the case. Completely not the case. And if that really worked, oh, a lot of things would be different in that vision, in that work. A lot of things. There's this idea that I'm a body with a mind inside. Well, if we could draw a schematics, we can't. But if we could, if we were bold enough or naive enough to draw that schematics, it would have to be otherwise. A mind with a body in it. Not just this body, all bodies inside the mind. That would be much more accurate. If we could, but we can't. That would be too naive. But it would be much more closer to something that makes sense. It is perfectly inbuilt. And the first discomforts, they are part of the journey. They are there to prepare you, to make you stronger, to make you more free. from the body, from the bodily demands. It is there to enable you to transcend it. But with that attitude, and attitude matters, it doesn't work like that. And your experiencing is saying that, not only yours. Everyone's experience is saying that. Maybe not everyone. But I still have to meet that one that it isn't. There is a science, a logic, and one thing is philosophy, another thing is quest for truth. It is different. You may apply yourself to a philosophy wholeheartedly, but if you're not a seeker of truth, it doesn't make much of a difference, because the life of the process have to be awakened in the middle of whatever philosophy you're going through. And as it awakens, then it is outside the scope of any philosophy whatsoever. That starting point, physical body, is very important. If you want to transcend it, all right, transcend it. Don't be a slave of it. I agree on that completely, 100%. But not because, well, it's like you're treating your body as a child that wants everything to itself, wants to dictate everything. And when the child is pleased, then I can have a little bit of peace. So if the body is super comfortable, then I can go. You're not going anywhere. Just fluctuating on that level of superficial mind. And once that is cleaned, oh, peace is here, silence is here, it must be it. No, by far it isn't. As you sit still, firm, steady, and you maintain it, this is important to turn the heat onto that pot of water which is on the stove. And then discomforts will come to push you back to the limits of your own reality. That's not possible for you. That's not possible for you. Stop that. This is not for you. This is what the body is saying. The first voices are from it. And as you conquer your stillness, your mind becomes strong, silent strong, unimpressed. That transcending that it is described here, it's no transcending. There's no strength in it. It depends on those circumstances to feel peace, silence, or whatever. It is very impressionable. Well, you get the point. It gets impressed easily. As discomfort arises, silence is lost. So that was not silence. Silence is no matter what. And this you have to conquer. Nature is telling you it's not possible. You cannot do that. Stay there where you are. Only those who persist can see otherwise. They go beyond their own level of chaos, and that is silence. As per belief, well, you believe whatever you need to defend your level of reality. This is why there is the fundamental need for the seeker of truth, to be established in very simple things. I don't want anything else from this world anymore. I will use whatever breath in this body towards freedom only, not assigning any meaning to freedom, not letting my mind to convert the meaning of freedom into something else of this individual character. I will not allow that. The mind will pull towards that direction. I will cut it continuously. How many times I have to, doesn't matter. Those visualizations are a way to sustain delusion. It's how delusion uses that circuit. It's like there's a main circuit of delusion. And then, in the quest for freedom, a bypass is made. But instead of going away from that main one, these visualizations, because of unfit motivation still there, they pick up that bypass and connect it to the main line again. And there you are in the main circuit, and your spiritual investments are just feeding that main line again. Sometimes people imagine that those divine tests, they come, and if you give what is asking, that your life will improve somehow. Well, you see, guidance doesn't really care about that life and in making it better. Why would it? Why would it? To keep you distracted longer there? To keep you longer in that level of consciousness? Watch this. The more your human life becomes worse, the more your attention moves towards God. It is innate in every human being. Suffering comes, they start praying. So is that really a tragedy? If it gives you the opportunity to transcend, to contemplate the divine, is that really bad? It isn't. So why would guidance bother about that? The real prizes that come from tests is the level of freedom gained, the level of maturity gained, the level of surrender gained. And if you would surrender because your life had improved, what surrender would that be? And if your life becomes more difficult and you remove your surrender, ha ha ha, there it is, wasn't ready. I don't want anything else from this world anymore. This is the mantra that you need to abide every day. Write it down in a place where you have to look at all times, because this forgets it very easily what it wants to forget, what it threatens, that which is pre-established. You have to bypass all those circuits. because everything is wired to respond always in the same way, the way that preserves. The seeker of truth is a student, a disciple, whatever you want to call it, because all those words, they translate in a certain state of mind. He is learning, or even better, he is unlearning. So first, he has to know that he knows nothing, and that which he believes he knows, it is the piles of noise that have to be put aside. Nothing there useful. It won't take you anywhere. If it hasn't brought you humility, it hasn't brought you anything. Because humility will be for sure a means for guidance. Without it, guidance can be in front of you and you will not be able to follow it. It doesn't matter if you know that is guidance. It doesn't matter if you don't know. You won't be able to follow it. So all that knowledge that is taken with the wrong motivations, with an impure mind, becomes a heavy burden. Because life can stand in front of you and you won't be able to recognize it. Or to trust, or to believe, or whatever. The student learns, the teacher teaches. The one who is teaching is not a student anymore. Because the student is busy, completely busy in learning. His attitude, his mode is to learn, not to teach. And to teach something, you have to know something. And as long as you don't know really who you are, as long as you're not awakened, you know nothing. Nothing worthwhile. The words of truth can be coming out of your mouth, but the meaning is nothing. Just empty. Okay. So next satsang will be Wednesday, 9 o'clock in the morning, Brazilian time, UTC -3. If you have questions, send your questions. It doesn't matter if they seem hairy or not. It will enrich the satsangs. There's a question here, Himant, how to visit the ashram. Well, all informations are in the website that appears somewhere there, I guess. And the channels you may find it, the website, all informations are there. If you have any questions concerning that, you can talk to the Sangha. Okay. You see, something which is very, very important is this spirit. You must have backbone. And to start it now, seriously, intensely, without giving room to these, this today, oh, but there's no room for this. If you're in a situation in the wilderness, not much abundance there in natural resources, and you need to survive, well, fire will be very important. It will be very difficult to make with no tools. And then you have to take care of it, to preserve it. It is the same with the life of the process, of the spiritual process. It is difficult to make it arise, to be present. And it is like fire. It burns, you feel the flames and all of that, and the presence, the warmth. And as it arises, then you have to take care of it. Feed it constantly so that you don't lose it. This is why it is for the ones who deem it precious and treat it as their life depends on it. And these are the ones who succeed. Because at the end of the day, all those studies, all those things, all those see, the dogs keep barking, the caravan passes. So will you be on the side of the dogs or the caravan? Those who treat it as their life depends on it. At the end of the day, they disappear on the horizon. The others just keep on barking, making noise. It's not about reason, it's about, is it alive? Is your process alive? Is fire there? Is guidance there? Are you following your whims, your opinions, or are you following guidance, being told what to do? At each step, are you being directed or are you choosing? Okay, make your time count. Or not, it is your time. Okay, lots.